So what is ID theft? ID theft is when someone uses your personal information, like your social security number, account numbers, credit cards, any of those things, without your permission in order to create fraud or commit a crime. So how does thieves get your information? Well, they get the information through a variety of ways. They can go do the old-fashioned way, dumpster diving, jumping through your trash. In fact, actually, once your trash hits the street corner, it's no longer considered private property. So you want to make sure that's secured. Skimming, so going out and getting your information that way. Shoulder surfing, just looking over your shoulder. Phishing, which is throwing out emails that look legitimate, but they're not, to try to get your information. Changing your address. They can actually go and change your address physically at the post office and try to get your mail. Just old-fashioned stealing, coming right up to your mailbox and taking it right out of your mailbox. Or pretexting, which actually is, in pretext, which is creating a story that's believable in order to try to get some information from you. The ways to avoid skimming. What is it? Skimming is hidden electronic devices that are used to steal the information off of your credit card. Ways to avoid pretexting. Like I said, pretexting is a form of social engineering, which an attacker tries to convince the victim to give up valuable information because of a story they created. It's important to particularly worry whenever someone has initiated a contact with you. Basically, if you don't know who this is, you're not sure about the source of who's calling, you can always not give out information. There's never an emergency where someone needs your personal information right there. It's an attempt to obtain sensitive information of a user for malicious reasons by disguising trustworthy entity in the electronic communication. Big thing, if you don't open unsolicited emails. If you didn't ask for something, especially if it has an attachment, if you aren't 100% sure of the source, do not open it. Refrain from clicking on malicious links. That's difficult to know which links are going to be malicious and which aren't. But once again, you got to trust your instinct. If it's something that you didn't ask for or a link was sent to you from an unknown source, don't open it. Make sure you install a spam filter so you can make sure you're only allowing in emails that you want allowed, and the rest go to spam, so you never have a chance to open them. And encrypt the data on your computer. For some reason, someone does get into your system, they can't access any of the information because it's all encrypted. So, some fun now. Some other types of fraud. Credit card fraud. People, setting up credit cards in your name. Doing the same thing with phones and utilities fraud. Those use your name and ID to pay their cable bill. So they're getting electricity, but you're paying for it. Bank and finance fraud, same thing. Someone's acting like a bank, trying to get your information to transfer money. Government document fraud. People will pretend to use your social security card or your driver's license in order to set up an ID so they can take out a loan or a mortgage or some other thing when you're on the hook for it. COVID-19 scams. Once again, every time an opportunity, a tragedy like this, criminals see it as an opportunity, right? So they'll go out and say, okay, we have COVID-19 treatments or vaccines. We can sell these to you through the web, right? And all of a sudden you're paying for something that doesn't arrive. Or worse, you get something that isn't really what it is, and it can, once again, be very dangerous. Phony donations to charities. We talked about that a little bit already. Fraudsters acting as contact tracers, where they'll call you up and actually say, hey, were you in so-and-so area? I need to get some information from you because we're doing contact tracing. And also now you're giving the personal information when you're really trying to, like I said, do good. Like I said, they appeal to your good sense, and we really want to use your common sense. Government documents fraud, the same thing. They're trying to get that information so they can create you, only not you. And then business loans. A lot of business loan scams out there right now because a lot of people in desperate situations, and so you just got to be real careful. Maybe they ask for it up front, which is a fee up front to get your business loan started. Document fees, that kind of thing. All of a sudden there is no loan and there's no company and you're gone. So signs you may be a victim. Information regarding credit you never applied for. You may get something in the mail, or you may get some email asking about a line of credit you opened up. That could be a scam, or it also may be someone that already did scam you and is trying to use your information. Statements from lenders or businesses that you never contacted. Like I said, same thing. It could come in the mail. It could come in an email. No statements from bills that you should pay. Maybe people stole your mail right out of your mailbox instead of missing mail in general. and you're using that information to set up phony accounts. So one way they do that, like I said, if you get your address, they get your electric bill, now they have your account number, and they say, okay, I've moved, and they change your address to somewhere else and start a power supply over there. Your lights go off, that one comes on, and you're stuck with every kind of bill that happened. Or they just simply set up another account under that same bill, and you're paying for both. Credit card purchases or account withdrawals that you don't recognize. Like I said, you want to check your accounts on a regular basis. And claims. You owe money for an account you've never opened or used. The other thing, too, is bills that may arrive for things that you didn't necessarily, let's say it's an electric company you don't use. It said, well, you have a $4,000 bill. Or it used to be a big thing back in the day where you get a long distance phone bill from a nefarious phone number. You don't want anybody knowing that you called or knowing anybody in your house may have called. And all of a sudden you're paying a bill to a false company that you never got a service from. So you just want to be careful about, like I said, there are more and more creative ways all the time to try to get people to part with their money. So steps to take if you think you have been a victim of fraud. Contact your bank and credit card issuers and do that immediately. Ask the bank to notify check verification services. File a police report. This is a crime. All right, it's just like if someone broke into your house. It's just even worse, because once they have that information, there's no telling what they can do with it, and trying to fix that is almost impossible, where replacing your TV is a little bit easier. Notify appropriate authorities about license or passport immediately. Once again, someone's trying to steal your identity, and they can use it for all kinds of different nefarious things. Especially if it's a passport. They could be using it to create a false ID to get in or out of a country. They could be doing it, like I said, to set up lines of credit, all kinds of things they've been doing with your information that can cost you a lot of money to replace and fix. Contact all three major credit bureaus, and there's three of them: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and get a copy of your credit report. They'll give you a free one every year, but it allows you to see what credit lines you have open, what things that you're paying on, and just gives you a good idea of where you are. And plus, it's good to have it in general anyway, so you can correct any errors that might be on that. But some of the liabilities that can happen, credit cards give you some protection, and so do FDIC insurance on your bank accounts. But by law, the first $50 of unauthorized credit card charges you may be liable for. If you report the loss of stolen debit card within 2 days, it's only going to be $50. But if you wait past 3 days to report it, then you may be on the hook for $500 or more. So you think you're safe. Sometimes, especially younger people think, well, that's something that affects older people. I don't have any money. Little do I care. But the FTC reports that 18 to 29-year-olds are the most highly affected. 33% of the credit card fraud and 21% of the phone and utilities fraud occur in that age group.
Have questions? Ask us. We can help with that. You can email Craig at crichardson@aresfoundation.org, or you can visit the website to learn more about what we do and how we might be able to help you. www.aresfoundation.org. Want to see more of this recording? Go to www.aresfoundation.org/events. If you know an organization or community support group that could benefit from one of our workshops, reach out to Tom T. Alessi at aresfoundation.org. Our mission is trying to help everyone have a better relationship with their money.